Welcome to this overview and basic intro to PowerPoint. Now, when you open up any version of PowerPoint, it will assume you want to create a new presentation, and it gives you a single slide to begin. If you look here in the middle, we have this single slide, and there's a couple of boxes on here. These are called text boxes, and you can see they're encouraging us to click to add a title and a subtitle. You may have panels down the side which offer you suggestions for certain layout ideas. I'm going to close that so we're left with just the main slide. Over on the left hand side you will have little thumbnail views of each slide. Now, because we only have one, we have one slide thumbnail. We'll come to the ribbon bars across the top, but we're currently on what's known as the home ribbon, which is the one you'll spend most of your time in when designing a quick presentation. Remember, PowerPoint is all about creating a presentation. So let's start by adding a new slide as our title slide. Now, this is a title slide, and you click to add a title. So let's say this is our company open day. We want to talk about our company's open day, and so we want to build a presentation to tell all the staff about that. You'll notice all I did was click in the box, type, and that's it. If I click away from this, you'll see the little box that surrounded that has now gone. To bring that box back, I will click my mouse over the top of the words I typed, and you'll see the box comes back. Now, this box has little circular handles around the edges. These are your resize handles, so you can, with your mouse, go over these circles and reduce the width or even the height of the box. We can also move the box around the screen, and the way you do that is to move your mouse onto the border of the box, not the circular handles. Those will resize, so we move it over the edge so you see the cliche 4 arrowhead. You can grab that and you can drag these boxes around the screen. Once you've done that, you can click to add a subtitle. So maybe we want to tell people when the company open day is going to be. So we click in this second box, it says click to add subtitle, and we'll say that the open day is on or in August 2020. Now, one thing about these is doing the formatting. Now, formatting is applied to the entire box, and that's a quick way of applying it. How do we do that? Well, let's say, for example, I wanted to make my subtitle much bigger and maybe bold, and even change the colour itself. If I click over the words, you'll notice the box appears. However, all text boxes have what we call two modes: select mode and edit mode. This is known as edit mode. How do I know? Well, I can see my cursor is flashing away over the words, and you can see that I've clicked inside it. If I click on the word, I can put my I-beam anywhere in the text. Now, I don't want to touch any of the buttons on the ribbon bar at the moment because it will only apply to where my cursor is currently flashing. So what I want to do is to say I want the entire content of this box to change. So I will move my mouse onto the edge of the box and click once. Now, I've selected the entire box. Once again, a simple indication of this is that if you now look, there's no flashing cursor over the words. Now if I come up to my ribbon bar, I can choose to make this bold, and if I turn on the bold button, it makes the content of the box bold. If I want to increase the font size to make it bigger or smaller, I use these two buttons here, which increase and decrease, and every time I click on the increase, watch the text in the box get bigger and bigger. Every time I click, it gets bigger and bigger, and I can make it smaller as well. So we can make that as big as we want. We then want to make the company open day bigger and bolder. Once again, we click over the text. That puts me in edit mode. I then want to select the box, so I click on the edge of the box. Once I've selected the edge of the box, anything I touch up here will affect the content. So I can now turn on bold, and I can increase the font size. Now, one thing to be aware of, if I make the text bigger and bigger, you'll notice that the program is not allowing me to make it bigger than the box. If I want to make it bigger, then I would stretch the size of the box that it's in. So there I have the size of my title, how I want it. Now, everything we're doing at the moment is on a slide that's going to be displayed on a larger screen. Now, before we do any more formatting, we want to add a new slide, just to show you how easy and quick it is to create a very simple presentation. If you look on the home ribbon, there is a button called New Slide. Now, this button is divided into two parts. If I was to click on the top half of the button, it will add a new slide based on a standard template, a slide layout. If I want to choose the type of layout I want, then I can choose the lower half of the button and click on that, and you'll see it pops down a menu that shows me all the different layouts. Now, most of them are self-explanatory. For example, the one that we've just worked on is called a title slide. We also have title and content. Maybe you want to put a title at the top and some content below it. Maybe you want to put a title only, or even have a totally blank slide. So if we choose, for example, a title and content, we can click on that, and what happens is it puts a new slide. You can see a new slide appear. You'll also see a new thumbnail, and it's got two preset text boxes already on there, and the reason it's done that is because we asked it to give us a title slide layout, not a blank slide. Once again, it's very self-explanatory because you can see it's asking us to click to add a title. So maybe we want to put a title up here called Agenda. So we click into that box and type Agenda. If I did want to format this, I would click on the edge of the box with my mouse. I would then make it bold and maybe make it bigger. I then want to add some bullet points. Now, you'll notice that the text box below has already got the bullet point showing, which means if I click to add some text, it will create bullet points for me. You'll also notice there's some little icons in the middle, and that's because we asked for a title slide with content, and this content can be bullet point text. It can be a table, it can be a chart, it can even be pictures as well, and videos. So I can put any content in here. Because I want to add some text, I just click where it says click to add text. I can now type some agenda items, maybe welcome meeting. We then want the company overview, Introduction to Product Range, and maybe we want to have concert as well. So we've got some items in here. Once again, because I know I want to format this, I'm going to click on the edge of the box. I can go straight up to my buttons to enlarge the font, and you'll see they get bigger and bigger. Now, if you study the buttons at the top, there's other things such as altering the spacing between each line. Now, this is to do with a paragraph, and if you look in this section here, which is called paragraph, we can choose to alter the line spacing. Remember, if you're ever confused by any buttons, you can move your mouse over the top of the button and just hover, and a little help will pop up on the screen to explain the name of the button and what it can do. If I click on this, you can see that we're getting a choice of, do I want 1 line spacing, 1.5, 2, 2.5, etc. As I hover over these, I get a live preview. So I might want 1.5. And there you can see it's given me bigger spacing on here. Now, the great thing about PowerPoint is this flexibility of using text boxes, because we know that we can move them around the screen, and we can also resize them. So I could resize this so that I get this little indentation here. And there's my second slide, and that's how you create a very basic slideshow. We'll look at formatting and adding additional content throughout this course.